U.S. Bank Voyager. Fuel, maintenance, and more. Managing fleet expenses and payments can be a major challenge, especially without the right solutions. The U.S. Bank Voyager Fleet Program offers businesses a single-source solution to help manage and control fleet fuel and maintenance costs.
Hi, I'm Chris Brown, Associate Publisher of Automotive Fleet. Welcome to the next episode of State of the Fleet Industry video series. In this edition, I interviewed Debbie Struna, who is chairperson of the Mentorship Task Force at AFLA, the Automotive Fleet Leasing Association. Debbie and I discuss succession planning for the fleet manager position. We talk about how to engage the next generation of fleet managers and how mentorship plays a key role.
Well, welcome everyone to another edition of State of the Fleet Industry. For this video, I'm here with Debbie Struna. She's a former fleet manager. She's served on the AFLA board. She's a Women in Fleet Management chairperson for the Mentorship Task Force. And oh yeah, she's also National Account Manager for Fleet Street Remarketing. Debbie, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me here today.
Sure. Well, we're going to really dig into kind of an issue that is becoming more of an issue, I think, in fleet management in general. And that's there is a generation of fleet managers that's retiring. And we're really looking to bring a newer crop of fleet managers into organizations and make sure that succession planning goes smoothly. So, hey, let's dig right in. Maybe you can share your own experience on that.
Sure, I absolutely can call back to my own experience on that one. When I was a fleet manager, I worked at Rite Aid, and whenever I came into that position, my manager, who was managing the fleet at that time, gave her 2-week notice, and she was out the door. So at that point, I had to take over the reins and kind of try to figure out what I was doing. Luckily for me, she didn't leave the fleet industry altogether, and I still was able to call on her and get some help from her during that time. But I think really what helped me out during that transition was that I was able to lean on my FMC a little bit. I was able to lean on some of my vendors to gain some knowledge from them. And I was highly encouraged to attend both the NAFA I&E conference and the AFLA conference annually. And once I started reaching out and attending those 2 events, that really got me the network and the connections that I needed in the industry to find that knowledge that I needed.
Yeah, that's great. I really want to drill down on some of those points there, but let's specifically talk about the associations. I mean, how did that, that face-to-face at the events really kind of help to jumpstart relationships that you needed to help you with your job?
Well, really, whenever you're a fleet manager, you have different departments coming to you. You have your upper management coming to you and asking you questions about the fleet program. And you really need to have a source of information. You need to have a network set up so that you can reach out and ask questions that you don't know the answers to. I was asked specifically, I remember, what's the personal use charge that other companies are charging for their drivers? I'm like, I don't know, but let me see if I can contact some of these people that I know now and get that answer for you and kind of get a general consensus of what's going on out there.
Yeah, that's great. So very specifically at NAFA, at AFLA, at these conferences, you met other fleet managers with other companies, and you got a business card and you could pick up the phone or email and get information from them.
That's it exactly. You have those references and you have that network set up for yourself, and that's just truly important. I think it's priceless information that you have out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the considerations is, with budgets being as tight as they are, you really have to convince upper management to let yourself go to these events and realize the importance, and also your team members. I mean, any tips on that?
Well, I can remember what we did, or what I did whenever I was a fleet manager, is we would hold monthly meetings and try to get other department members to come in and talk about fleet issues. Specifically, our risk management team was highly involved in our processes. We were trying to rewrite the fleet policy. We were trying to find out what should you do whenever you have somebody that is pulled over with a DUI. So you actually getting all of those other departments involved with what you're doing, and getting them to know the importance of fleet, I think, is a nice step. And also getting those upper level management people to understand what's going on with fleet and how important it is to be able to continue training and gaining new knowledge.
Is there a benefit to actually having like sort of a document? I mean, should fleet managers iterate on sort of a succession planning, actually documenting this?
I think that we could really have a benefit that could be provided to different corporations if the fleet manager was able to take some sort of succession planning document to their upper level management team that would talk about things like this. The things that that fleet manager should be doing, the training that's out there and available to them, and talk a little bit about that succession planning, talk about where they're going to be whenever that fleet manager retires. I think that would be pretty valuable.
Yeah, perhaps we as an industry can kind of source that as a template and then, share it. Note to selves, work in progress, I guess.
Exactly. I think we need it.
Yeah, so talk about how a fleet management company might be able to help in this transition.
Well, I can talk with my own experience. I was a fleet manager for 7 years, and then it was my turn to walk out the door. I was taking a new position, so I gave my 2 week notice. And at that point, there really wasn't somebody else that was able to step into my role. So I couldn't really train anybody. My boss at the time understood a lot of the fleet processes and programs that we were already involved with, because I kept him involved and let him know what was going on in fleet. So he had to kind of step in as interim. But what they did was they leaned heavily onto their FMC at the time, and they were able to get a temporary person appointed through the FMC to kind of help manage those day-to-day operations, assigning drivers and unassigning drivers and vehicles. And so they had that help through the FMC.
Well,
And
you
to
bring up a good point in the vendor community. I mean, there's certainly other vendors to look at and to embrace that can also help you. Whether you're a fleet dealer, your account rep an OEM, right? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, and you have those vendors that are coming to visit you as a fleet manager. So you can lean on their experience a little bit as well. And even some of the vendors that are coming to visit you, they may have been former fleet managers like myself. Now I'm a vendor, but I still have that fleet management experience that I'm more than happy to share with anybody. So, honestly, use that knowledge that's out there.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. What about, publications, right? I mean, heck, Bobbitt has a wealth of fleet knowledge and fleet publications, but the associations do as well. Can you talk about those?
Sure. And I can tell you, I leaned heavily on the Bobbitt publications when I was a fleet manager. They're searchable, they're out there, it's easy to find. And I would recommend anybody else that's looking for information to do that as well. But we also, as an AFLA member, you have a wealth of information that's available at afla.org. We have all of our conference sessions and anything that is done at the our sessions and our speakers. They're available to you, and they're archived and recorded. So you can pull that information up. Also, any of the Fleet Insight newsletters that have been published, it's also under the archival section at afla.org. And as a WIFM member as well, as an AFLA member overall, you can go to the WIFM section, and we have a lot of resources available there to you. We have mentorship program resources. We have book recommendations, podcast recommendations. There's a lot of information there if you just dig down in and find it for yourself.
Wow, great information here, Debbie. But let's just follow up finally on the AFLA mentorship program specifically. What are the details there?
Well, we started the AFLA mentorship program, I believe, in 2019, and it has just grown since then. It's a great program. We have signups once a year where people can go to AFLA, to the AFLA website, and enter in their name and their information. But we also have them enter in the different skills that they're interested in learning about, whether that's fleet management, leadership skills, sales coaching, any of those different areas that they would like to learn more about. They can pick those in a drop-down box and put it in as part of their submission to become a mentee in the program. Also, for our mentors that sign up, we have them put down their areas of expertise. And then whenever we do the program pairings, we have a few of our members that get together to do that. And we try to, as closely as possible, match up the mentor with the mentee and match those skills together so that it's a good pairing for those individuals. And then they are in this mentorship program for an entire year. We check up on them, make sure everything's going well, make sure that they have the resources available to them for the program too. We have all kinds of mentorship resources. And it's just been a great program that's grown through the years. This year we had a total of 25 pairings, so that's 50 people that we paired up this year to be in the program. So I think that it's quite a success so far.
Wow, it's so great to see that program grow. And certainly fleet managers can access similar resources at NAFA, the Fleet Management Association, as well. Hey, Debbie, thank you so much. This was really enlightening and some really great resources for folks to take away in terms of succession planning in their own jobs for fleet management. So I thank you for joining us today.
Thank you as well, Chris. Happy to help.